Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today we're going to get a little bit inky and a little bit foily and a little bit messy and make this cute rainbow foiled dashboard. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so to start off with, I'm just going to need just a piece of plain white cardboard. I've already cut this to A5 size, so I don't need to sort of do any more than this. All I am going to do first though is punch the holes in it, just so I can kind of work on where they will be and kind of avoid them when I'm putting the butterflies down. So I'm just marking the holes. And I'm just going to punch them with my single punch because it's not a particularly big deal. I do have a my We Are Memory Keepers planner punch board that would do them all at once, but I don't mind doing them. If I've got sort of 3, 4 or 5 pages and I start getting a bit bored, but just for one's not so bad. So this is just plain A5 cardstock, A4 cardstock that I've cut in half. Nothing fancy to it. It's not watercolor paper, it's not fancy paper, it's just normal cardstock. So I've gone ahead and picked out 8 of my favourite Distress Oxide colours. I've just got them, they are in kind of a rainbow order at the moment, but not really. Red, orange, yellow, green. There we go. We'll go like that. No, we'll put the pink on the end. I don't know why. I like the pink being on the end. So I'm going to grab this set. This is from Kaisercraft. It's a very old one and I got it on discount or on clearance. Probably must have been before the lockdown because I know I bought it in store and I haven't been in store since probably March. But I'm going to use these 3 butterflies to kind of build up each of these layers. So I'm going to start off with the solid. Just grab a stamp block. Any stamp block will work here. Just make sure you stick that down. Oops. And then it's going to take a little while because I kind of need to do these one by one. Oh, I'm going to take all the lids off, that's the hard part. But I'm just going to stamp the butterfly solid sort of all over the place. I think I'm going to do random, so we'll just have them all over the spot, but I am kind of still considering doing them sort of in a gradient. I'm kind of nervous to do either. I'm just going to go with the rainbow all over the place and we'll just see what happens. Now, something I have noticed sometimes with some of the Distress Oxide colours, not all of them, but some of them. So the pink is going to stamp out really, oh, there we go, look, it did what I wanted it to do. It's kind of missing this little bit on the bottom. So what I do is I grab out a water brush or a paintbrush with water, either or. Just make sure this is clean. And then I just pull the colour down. And if I can't get the colour to pull, which I can, but I just want to show you the other way as well. Just put some on your mat and just paint in the bit that's missing. And it just makes it look a little bit more solid. If you like the empty look, you can leave this. You don't have to do this. But I kind of like it looking a little bit more solid. But it does still have that watercolory effect at the bottom that's kind of cool. So you can do either. So along the way, if you sort of see me painting in, that's what I'm doing. I'm just painting in the colour that maybe didn't stamp so great. So I'm just going to keep going and put these all over the place. Just going to clean off on my little cloth in between stamps. And what I might do is do the rainbow order. So here we go. Candied Apple's not going to stamp on here quite as nicely, I don't think. I'm pushing really hard onto that block, so I really want to get as much ink on there as I can. I'm just trying to make it look... Oh, it's not so bad. I can colour that in though. So I might go sort of red, orange, and then yellow, and then kind of do that kind of pattern. That might work. So we'll go ahead and do that and see how it looks at the end. so I just hit all of those with the heat tool just to dry them off a little bit faster. Now I love, there's just a little bit of wetness on my background, on my mat here, so I'm just going to clean that up. Now I love that they all look a little bit different, and I love that because this one was still wet when I was playing with it, it's kind of given it this really cool fiery effect, which I really love. So I like the way this has come out. So the second stamp on here has got the wings, or got the bits on the outside of the wing, and I decided I'm going to do that in black, but I want it to be really dark black. So I've got my VersaFine ink, which is slightly different to my Memento ink. It's not Copic friendly, it doesn't do well with watercolours if they're wet. It'll be fine on here because this is obviously all dry now. But it's going to give me a slightly blacker black than the Memento gives me. Now I do just want to do one quick little thing here. That's just, I'm going to tape this to my mat. I just don't want it wobbling because this is all about lining it up. Now you could use a Misty tool or something similar for this, but honestly I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. So all I'm doing is just lining it up through the acrylic block and then stamping it down. Now sometimes it'll look perfect like that one just did, but I have a feeling somewhere along the way I'm not going to get that and it'll look a bit funny. So I'm just lining it up through the block and stamping it down. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of them and I'll be right back. Notice I left one off, and that's because for the last layer, because this has got 3 layers, this one's got the sort of the middle bit and then some spots on the wing. I'm going to foil this, so I'm going to do this with mink ink, but Ryan was just saying he thinks that I should do just one with the outside as the foiling instead of the inside, so I'm going to do one slightly differently. So I'm just grabbing my mink ink. Hold on. No, it'll be fine. I shook it up yesterday, so it will be fine. Just grabbing my little, whatever you call this thing. I was going to say pipette, but then I thought that sounded stupid. And I'm just putting it out on my mat. Always sort of put this somewhere where it's not going to make too much of a mess. Stay. Good work. Now if you haven't seen me use mink ink before, I will put the link to the video where I have used it. Best way to do it is to give it, now that I've got it out on the mat and kind of sitting there, just to give it a minute to get tacky. You want this to be as tacky as possible when you're inking up. So just give it a couple of minutes. Alright, this is still just a little bit wet, but if you sort of spread it out a little bit, you get the texture that you want. So I like to roll onto my stamp, so I'm just using my little brayer and just rolling on. It's better to have too much than not enough, in my opinion. But if you have it too wet, it kind of doesn't do a good job anyway. So it's a little bit touch and go. You've kind of got to be a bit happy to try different things with this. I've got a hair stuck in there, but that's alright. So the stamp is down. Now don't panic if that doesn't look solid, because like I said, it's gonna have foil on it, so it'll be fine. So for all of the others, except this one, so this one I'm gonna put down the VersaFine for the dot, so it'll be the only one that's inversed. But all of the others I'm gonna stamp down using the mink ink. And I'm actually just gonna put it straight into my pile. I think that'll work a bit better, and then I can tap off what's too much. So I'm probably going to make a bit of a mess, but I like mess, so it's okay. So you want to hear that tacky noise as it comes back up. That's sort of where you're aiming with this. So, all stamped on there. The way that I have found it is easiest to clean up this mink ink is with a baby wipe. I don't know why it seems to work so much easier, but if I try and do it with a with water and my little mat thing, it goes everywhere. So this is the way I clean it up. I probably waste a little bit too much, but I have 2 bottles, so I think I'll be okay. So use one to kind of pick all the excess up, and that goes in the bin, and then just another one just to clean her up again. Very, very easy to clean up with just a baby wipe, although you will have some stuff on your fingers, but just don't stick your finger through a meat machine and it'll be fine. Just another little hint, if you don't get it all off, that's okay. Once it's dry, it won't make any difference. That's sort of how clean it normally gets. It doesn't get much cleaner than that, and that's fine. It'll work without any kind of a problem. Alright, so once everything is all stamped out, you kind of have to let this dry. It'll take probably 10-15 minutes to dry completely because you want it to be dry before it goes through the ink machine. So while this is drying off, I'm going to grab out my foil. I'm going to grab all my little excess bits, and I'm going to try and use different colours on different butterflies, and that way it'll have a different kind of effect for each one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that out of my foil drawer and kind of cut out how much I need, and then we'll be back to run it through the ink machine. That was fun. That was just working out the puzzle. And this is the fun thing when you're using all this sort of different colour foil. You can kind of play with it a little bit. Alright, so then I'm going to pull in my mat. This is a very dangerously broken one, but it's alright. It'll still work. I'm going to stick this in here. Now I've just got this little bit of teal that's floating around, as well as this little bit of pink. Quite stick down, but that's alright, it'll all fit now. Sometimes you need an extra hand, so Ryan's just going to flip this shut for me. Yep, I'm going to sort of push it down and hold these down. There we go. Oops, the pink moved. As you can see, as I got sort of a little bit, when I was cutting them, I kind of got bigger and bigger because I couldn't be bothered doing these little fiddly bits. So I'm just going to run this straight through the foiler. I'm just going to move that over a little bit because it was in the wrong spot. So I'm going to put this up to, I'm going to put the heat on to 4, which is sort of the, not quite the hottest, but it's close. That generally gets the best results for me. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back and peel off all this foil. Okay, so let's pull this up. See if it worked. Oh, I've already seen one, and it has worked, but not the way I wanted it to, but that's alright. So already you can see the hollow one, because I went back in with that second sort of row of ink, hasn't worked out so well. Oh, that pink one has. Ooh, I like the rose gold on the orange. And the idea is this is never going to be 100% perfect, although that one nearly did. But it's just going to add something to it. Well, I like that one. That one worked out really. Look at the purple on the purple. Oh, that's so good. Oh, and I like the green. The only one so far that I'm not happy with is the hollow one. I think the rest of them have actually worked out really well. Oh, happy, happy. Alright, so to finish this off, I'm just going to fix up the back. So all I'm going to do is just rub off the dots. Now this has damaged the back just a little bit, so if you were going to use this as a proper dashboard, I'd probably suggest putting it onto another bit of cardboard just so that you've got A, little bit of strength, but B, you're not going to see these sort of messy bits. So I'm just going to grab this is actually the other half of the cardboard, and I'm just going to stick this on. It's a little bit less wide on this side, but that's alright. Let's just have a look actually. I could cut it, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave it. So I'm just going to glue these together, just using glue tape. And I'll make sure that this is extra strong. Whoops. Could laminate this too if you wanted to. Alright, and to finish this off, because it's just looking a little bit... I'm tempted to put some black splatter on the back, just to all over it, just to give it a little bit of something, but at the same time, I'm scared to do it. What do you think, Ryan? Ryan says no. I will leave it. I will leave it. But you could put black splatter just using either paint or you could put some ink. Shush, Ryan.
Don't do it.
I'm just seeing. I've got my black. I can find it. There it is. This is my black glitter pen from Uniquely Creative. And this will give it's not a, whoops, that was a bit much. So it's not as dark, but it'll give a bit of shimmer. Sorry, Ryan. I'm going to overrule you.
Don't do it.
Going to overrule Ryan. I'm doing this really lightly. I don't want too much, just a little bit. Even though I've hit that with the heat tool, I would avoid putting anything heavy on this for a little while, just in case it smudges any of those little spots. But I'm actually happy I put the spots on. It just didn't look quite finished before, but now it does. I don't love this, but I don't not like it. And I think with a little bit of a tweak, it could be made to look a lot better than I did. Maybe the butterflies need to be all foil, or maybe the butterflies need to be all foil on just the insides. But I do like that this one's a little bit different. It's something cool, and I like that one's the hollow one because it's just a nice little difference. But there we go, we've got a foiled rainbow butterfly dashboard, just with a little bit of extra splatter on there to make it a little bit cooler. I do like that they're a bit shimmery. That's cool. I was just trying to find something fun and different and rainbow that I haven't done for a while, so this was sort of my come up for that. I also haven't used my mink ink on camera for a little while, so I thought I'd do that as well. Like I said before, you could laminate this now and then stick it in your planner. It would be absolutely beautiful. A little quote on the bottom would be really nice as well, or maybe something else on the back. You could put black on the back. Oh, look. Oh, well. It's alright. I went and made and got it inky on the back, so I have to find something else to put on there now, but that's alright. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. I do like getting messy fingers for you guys. It makes this a lot of fun. So if you want to see sort of more messy videos, please let me know and I'll see what I can come up with. Don't forget to be following me on all of my social medias, as well as subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything in the future from me. I hope you have an absolutely awesome week, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!